Alrighty, you guys. So in this video, we're going to be looking at the T, tag the main idea and article information, and the analyze the text features of our target worksheets. Now, I know that you already have a target worksheet that you started for the articles that you're using today, but we're doing a new one over because of this analyze text features section, and I'm sure I've already heard you groan about it, so just move on. I love you. We can do it. So, starting with our article information, I'm going to be using the article that we worked with before, The Real Hacksaw Ridge Soldier Saved 75 Souls Without Ever Carrying a Gun. Because this title is long and I don't want you to have to sit there to watch me do it, I already have a version where I have the title. Haha. So, next thing, author. No matter the format of your article, you all should have Common Lit, so typically it's written underneath the title directly. There is always going to be a place where they say by or have a little space for the author's name, normally on the side, by the title. If you look in a newspaper, it's usually right above the article or right at the end of the article. But today's one is right here. So just like in yours, you can look there for your author. Mine is Elizabeth Blair. And Common Lit is really nice in that they put their dates underneath. So our date written is 2016. If you get a newspaper, your date might be on the top of the newspaper, typically on the front. It'll tell you when it's written. Sometimes it'll be after the author's name, depending on where you get the article. But in Common Lit, it's always going to be right underneath. And of course, our source we know is going to be Common Lit. So we write Common Lit here. But we have to remember Common Lit is an aggregate source, meaning that it takes its information from other places. So we're going to check at the back where it has the copyright to see what our other source is. And here it says National Public Radio. So we're going to go ahead and write that there. So if you didn't fill out this section yet on your article, that's what you're doing right now. You can pause this video anytime you need to catch up. But this part should already be done. Next, with analyzing the text features. I know we did this really quick when I did this in class. So I'm going to take my time walking through it this time. So you're picking 3 text features. This is three text features, and describing why the author chose to include them. So text features are not something where you have to read the article to find them. It's something you should see right away. So right away, I see that there's a picture with a caption. So I can put my highlighter and highlight that caption underneath. And then right here on number 1, I can write picture caption or pic caption if you would like, because we all know what pic stands for. So we have a pic caption. If we want to get into the nitty-gritty, we can go ahead and look. Why would they include this caption? What we see in the picture is an old man kind of looking with a funny face, holding up something to a proud-looking soldier. When we look at the article, it says, Desmond Doss CMH Award by U.S. federal government is in the public domain. I mean, this picture can be used by anyone. But if we look at this title, Desmond Doss CMH Award, we read the article earlier. We know that the CMH Award is the award he got at the end, which was the Doss Medal of Honor, the Congressional Medal of Honor. So this is explaining why he's so proud. This is him receiving that award. It gives us that information. So with the picture caption, it explains the significance of the photo. I'm guessing that a lot of you have photographs in your significance in your articles. Most of the time, it's going to explain the significance of the photo or image. Sometimes it's going to explain what the image is about because you won't know, especially if it's a science article. But it explains why it's important. Otherwise, you just think this is an old man. Maybe it was his dad feeling proud, fixing his tie. Maybe this is a grandpa. Maybe this is someone who's just admiring his outfit, a tailor who's getting ready for the uniform. But from the caption, we know that this is the moment he received that award. That crazy moment where he was finally recognized as one who was a hero and part of the army. So that's 1. We've got 1 text feature. When we go to our next text feature, which you all might remember, is in almost every Common Lit article is going to be our keywords. So we're going to highlight these definitions on the bottom. You all probably have at least one of these because Common Lit really likes to include definitions and keywords. And we're going to write out our keywords. Now, how to tell why the author did that, if we look at the words on this page, because there are 4 that have these numbers, we see confounded, which is not a word we use very often. We see Sabbath, which also, if you're not religious, is not a common term. A combat medic, which is an army term, and a battalion. Oops, you can't see it. A battalion, which is also an army term. So out of these, we've got a difficult word, so difficult vocab. Here we've got religious term. And then we've got a military term and a military term. So most of these, the majority is not just about vocabulary words that the readers might not know, but it's about terms that are specific to a specific content area or a specific group of people. So when we're thinking about our keywords and why the author might include these definitions specifically, it's probably because not everyone who's going to read this article, ideally, is going to be someone who's in the Army. Or someone who only Seventh-day Adventists will read this, right? That's not what the author is aiming for. They're aiming for a broader audience. They want more people to know about this. So when they have their keywords, it's to make their article and information, because she wants not just the article, but all the information in it, to be accessible and understood by all readers. You want people who are not in the military, accessible and understandable. We're going to change it to understandable to all readers. So people who are not in the military, people who are not religious, you want them to know this story because this story is one that should transcend and be viable no matter who is reading it. So this is important for the author to make sure that that audience is able to understand the importance of the story. Now, if we look for another text feature, we don't really have many on the back that stand out right away aside from some more keywords. And maybe italics at the bottom here. And when we look at the front, we have that big block of italics. So we can talk about italics in general. So I'm going to draw a box around this just like we did in class when we looked at this article. You can do the same on yours. I think all Common Lit articles have this. And when we look on here, we can write italics. Italicized words, italics. An author is always going to make italics when they want to separate something from the rest of the article. If we look here, we have another example of italics and another one here. This one is because it's a movie title. But this one here is not for a movie title. This one is emphasis, meaning it's to show that it's important. It's emphasizing, it's making important that it's not just he survived, he did save people too. So when we look at these different versions of italics, we have 3 different ways the author is using them. There's the movie title, the emphasis, and then this one is to separate it from the article. Because you don't want them to think that this introduction is part of the article. It's not. The article starts where it has that number 1 for the paragraph. So you can talk about any of these uses in your italic section. I'm going to say overall, to talk about all 3, the italics are to separate from rest of article, in order to emphasize or to indicate a difference, meaning that it's not part of the article, or it's a title, or it's something else that the reader needs to know is not just the normal words in the article. Okay, I'll scoot that up a little bit so you can see to indicate a difference. All right, so we have done the text features and we have done our article information. Your next video is going to be the hashtags, which you will be talking with me about once you get to my table. But for now, I want you to make sure that you go through and have done these things for your article, the article that you picked, not this one, the one that you selected. Good luck.